Some of the most dangerous things you will ever do happen inside a church dressed in black, holding a tissue. Grief does not excuse disobedience, and what you do at that funeral could open a door you will spend years trying to close. If you have ever walked out of a funeral heavier than when you walked in, not just sad but drained, confused, off, you were not imagining it. Grief has rules. Break them, and you do not just mourn the dead. You invited something to follow you home. This is not superstition. This is discernment. God gave His people clear instructions for how to grieve, and most believers break every single one without realizing it. Not out of rebellion, but out of exhaustion, tradition, and a room full of people telling them it is fine. Today, 7 things you should never do at a funeral. They look normal, they feel harmless, and they quietly cost you your peace. Number 7 is the one almost every Christian has already done, and it is the most dangerous of all. Number 1, speaking against God in the room. Every bitter word you throw at heaven is a seed, and seeds grow. Grief makes people say things like, "Why would God let this happen?" as an accusation, not a question. That is not sorrow. That is a courtroom, and you have just put God on trial. Think of it like planting in scorched ground. The words still take root, they just grow something twisted. The truth pivot. Your pain is valid. Your accusation is not the same thing as your pain. The boundary is simple. Grieve loudly if you need to, but do not curse what you do not understand. The consequence: bitterness spoken over a casket does not stay in the room. It rides home with you, it sits at your dinner table, and it shapes how you pray for years afterward. Proverbs 18:21 says, "The tongue has the power of life and death." You do not get to skip that verse because you are hurting. Number 2, trying to reach the dead. It is not comfort, it is contact, and contact is forbidden. People do not always call it a seance. Sometimes it is a whispered, "Give me a sign" over the casket, or a visit to someone who claims they can pass along a message, or an app that promises to let you talk to them one more time. It feels loving. It is not. Picture a door with a warning sign on it. The warning does not disappear just because your reason for opening it is love instead of curiosity. Love does not need a medium. The boundary, your longing to hear from them again, does not authorize you to summon anything. Deuteronomy 18:10-11 is direct. God forbids consulting the dead. The consequence is not symbolic. You are not knocking on heaven's door. You are knocking on the wrong one, and something else is listening. Number 3, making a vow to a dead person. A promise made to the dead is a chain, not a tribute. I'll never love again. I'll visit this grave every week for the rest of my life. I owe them this forever. That sounds like devotion. It is actually a contract you signed in a moment of pain with someone who cannot release you from it and never asked you to sign it in the first place. Honoring someone is not the same as binding yourself to them. Grieve, remember, honor, but do not vow. The consequence: vows made at gravesides have kept people frozen in place for decades, unable to remarry, unable to move cities, unable to build anything new, calling it loyalty when it is really captivity, wearing a respectable name. Here is what we have covered so far: controlling your mouth, refusing false contact, refusing false vows. 3 doors, all closed, all for a reason. None of this is random. God is not being harsh. He is protecting the door to your spirit while it is most wide open, because grief is the one season where you will let almost anything in if it promises to numb the pain. Now here is the next one, and this is where it gets personal. Number 4, carrying unforgiveness into that room. You cannot bury a body and keep the grudge alive standing right next to it. Funerals gather every unresolved relationship in one place. The sibling who wronged you, the parent who never apologized, the friend who betrayed the deceased and showed up anyway. Grief has a way of making old wounds louder, not quieter, because everyone's guard is down at once. Unforgiveness does not wait for a better moment. It attaches itself to whatever room you are standing in. Forgive before you walk in, not after. Mark 11:25 says, "Stand praying, forgive, so your Father can forgive you." That instruction was not written for convenient days. The consequence: carry it in and you will carry it out, heavier than before, and it will still be there at the next family gathering. Number 5, competing in your grief. Measuring your sorrow against someone else's turns mourning into performance. I knew them longer. I loved them more. My pain is worse than yours. This happens more than anyone admits, especially in families, and it usually happens quietly through who gets to sit in the front row, who gets to speak, whose tears get noticed first. Grief is not a hierarchy, and God is not scoring your tears. Mourn your own loss without needing to outweigh anyone else's. The consequence: division at a funeral does not heal once the casket is closed. It calcifies, and it becomes the story the family tells for the next 20 years. Number 6, bargaining with God out of fear of death. Panic prayers are not faith, they are leverage attempts, and God does not negotiate. Standing at a casket, people whisper deals. If you just let me live longer, I'll change. I'll do anything, just not this. That is not surrender. That is fear wearing the costume of prayer, and God can tell the difference, even when you cannot. Fear of death is not the same as fear of the Lord. One shrinks you, the other builds you. 1 Thessalonians 4:13 tells us not to grieve like people who have no hope. Bring God your fear honestly without trying to buy your way out of mortality. As the consequence, bargains built on fear collapse the moment the fear passes, and you are left having made promises you were never going to keep to a God who never asked for the deal in the first place. This one is subtle. This one is dangerous. It looks holy. It even looks like love, but it still blocks obedience. Number 7, turning the deceased into something you worship. A shrine is a shrine, whether it is built from stone or built from memory. It is the photo altar you visit more than you pray. It is refusing to let anyone else sit in their chair. It is measuring every decision by what they would have wanted instead of what God is asking now. It is talking to their picture more than you talk to your Father. Honoring someone's memory is right. Organizing your entire life around it is not. Exodus 23 says, "You shall have no other gods before him," and grief has a way of quietly installing one without you ever noticing the switch. The consequence is the slowest and most dangerous of all 7. Not a dramatic collapse, but a decade spent worshiping an absence instead of walking with the God who is still present, still speaking, and still asking to be first. Grief will test what you actually believe faster than almost anything else in your life. It will strip away the version of your faith that only works on easy days and show you exactly what is left standing underneath. Guard the room. Guard your mouth. Guard your worship.